You're listening to a Brain Stew Fresh Fright Review.
What's up, creeps, and welcome to a brand new Epic Film Guys Fresh Fright Review. I'm Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
On this episode, we're talking about one of the most anticipated horror movies of the year for, I feel like it was on almost all of our lists at the beginning of the year, Curry Barker's Obsession. And no, I'm not talking about the Brian De Palma film from the 1970s. It's a brand new movie from a first-time debut filmmaker. He's done shorts, mostly known for comedy, actually. This movie, I think, debuted at TIFF last year, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding it, and we're going to get into that buzz and dissect it to see if it was warranted or not. But before we get into the actual movie itself, this will be full spoiler, and we are dropping this prior to the actual release date of the movie. Thank you, Focus Features and Blumhouse, for giving us an early look at this, and also for the merch, Jeremy. We got fucking One Wish Willow prop, which was really cool, as well as the t-shirt that had the Nikki character on it, really spooky shirt. So pretty rad, right? I saw you sporting yours already.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. The merch was awesome. Shout out to Allied.
Yeah, absolutely.
For facilitating that. Yeah, no, dude. As soon as we got there and they were like, "What size shirt?" and I was like, "Fuck yes!" Especially once I saw. Yeah. Especially once I saw like that the design was actually cool. Because like, dude, it's one of those things, and I'm not complaining because we're in a good predicament, right? Like, we get to see these movies early. Sometimes we get free stuff from the studio. But I always super appreciate it when the t-shirt's actually fucking cool. Because like sometimes we've gotten some shirts that it's just like dude, for instance, like, not hating, because free is free and it's cool regardless. But like the shirt that we got for Weapons, like, it's okay. Like, I get what they were going for, but it wasn't like I got the shirt and was like, dude, this shirt is the shit. But dude, the shirt for Obsession is like, I would, as I already have, like, I rock that. Yeah. Like, I loved it. So
I've loved the marketing.
I was about to say, the marketing on this, man, you could text a number and it would text you back. And I know you said you...
I won't do it, dude. I will not do it. No. I saw a few other people did it when we were waiting for the screening to start. I'm like, I was scared to begin with, and after watching this movie, I told my wife, I said, there's no way I'm texting that number, because that's how much this movie scared the shit out of me. But for the uninitiated, Jeremy, let our listeners know, since B. Ratty unfortunately couldn't make this one, what Obsession is all about.
Sure. Obsession is about a couple that, after breaking the mysterious One Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic finds himself getting exactly what he asked for, but soon discovers that some desires come at a dark, sinister price.
Much like a big budget, scarier Goosebumps episode. Which is what it sounds like on paper, dude. And I felt like going into this, that's kind of like what this movie was, but it worked wonders for me overall, and we'll get into our initial thoughts and stuff. But I think I already alluded to this earlier, that we were both really excited for this. I think you even more so than I. You said this was like your most anticipated over the last few months.
Yeah. No, this one was definitely one that as soon as I heard the synopsis and I watched that first trailer, instantly I was like, this is on my radar. This is exactly the kind of horror movie that I love. And like, realistically, if you look at this movie and you break it down, it's basically an evil genie movie, except for instead of 3 wishes, you just had 1 wish, right?
It's the whole monkey paw effect, whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. Which, good pull on comparing it to like a Goosebumps episode or an Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? That one where the kid fucking gets, the dog runs through and trips the kid and he breaks his leg.
That was the Monkey Claw episode, right?
It was. It started out on Halloween or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And it's the 2 kids and the parents are gone. Yeah. Oh man, so good. But yeah, this basically was like an evil genie movie, like Wishmaster, right? Where it's like you can make a wish and it will come true, but in a much more devious, terrifying way than what you could have ever imagined, which that's right up my alley, man. So, like, what was your anticipation for this?
I mean, it was pretty high. I've been on this trend, and I talk about it here and there on the show, that I only try to watch the first trailer, the first full trailer, one time. I don't watch a second trailer or a third trailer for most movies. Clips, none of that stuff. Because I see that already, like the week before, we're recording this the week of the release of Obsession, but they're already releasing full clips and stuff, and I feel like it's okay to do like a little bit of that, but I don't want to be consumed by stuff before I sit down in the theater to see it. So I saw the first full trailer once in the theater. I'm in instantly. I'm good. I know I'm going to see it. And instantly intrigued by, it's a guy that's already being tailored, or set to rather direct, the new Texas Chainsaw. That instantly has my attention, when he only has one movie that has yet to be released under his belt. Again, he's got shorts and stuff, and he's known for that, but this guy has to have a lot of talent to be getting that kind of hype behind his name prior to the release of his first big horror movie, which I haven't even looked yet, Jeremy, to see what this is tracking to do, but I can already tell you I'm pretty confident to say this is going to be a big hit. It doesn't feel like a Blumhouse movie, even though it has that Blumhouse tagline on it or whatever. It feels like something way harder.
It feels like A24. It feels like A24.
It feels
man, honest,
more closer
Neon.
along the lines to that. Yeah, and I think I don't even know what caliber or what part of it that Blumhouse had to do with it, but maybe just help distribute it. But this thing, we'll get right into it, man. Obsession fucked me up. Like in every possible way of speaking that term. It just, it grabs you by the throat, much like I said in my blurb. It really just takes you, and then once it has you, it never lets you go, right into the last frame of the movie. And it takes a little bit of time to get there, but when it does get there, it's just hard. It's bleak, and it never like really pulls any punches. This is really his vision, unfiltered, and I really appreciated that about this movie, and the fact that the filmmaker was allowed to convey his vision without, it seemed like, really no interference whatsoever.
Yeah, so from what I read up on, is it looks like this was shot for under $1 million.
Wow.
And then it was picked up for distribution after, which they paid $15 million after a bidding war.
Damn.
Several distributors wanted it, including A24 and Neon. So apparently this was just a competition of who wanted it the most and whose pockets were the deepest. So it looks like this was independently financed initially. That's kind of how I read it. Which it would explain definitely how he had complete creative control, which it feels like a movie that its director and Helmer had full creative control over. I mean, dude, it's just this one was wild, because like, even in what I loved about this movie was that even the things that you could see coming, right? He does them in a way that's still surprising. Like, I'll just say that, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but there's a scene in a car in a park.
Same one that
and
got
me.
Yes,
and what's going to happen, and that it's absolutely going to happen. And then the way that it goes down, it's still done and shot in such a way that was shocking and appalling and jaw-dropping. And this is a moment that you knew was coming. To me, that is the thumbprint of a brilliant filmmaker, when you can do something like that and still make it shocking and surprising. And, everybody that sees this movie is going to talk about Indy Navarrete, right? Who played Nikki, who was the star of the movie. Everyone is going to talk about her because her performance is, I'm going to go ahead and just say, groundbreaking and
absolutely
unbelievable. And this is someone who I think that their career is going to catapult, because, I mean, it's the first thing that I've ever seen her in, and she blew my fucking mind with her acting in this movie, and the way that she emotes, and just the precision of every decision she made with that character was just so unbelievable that this is not going to be a situation where Terrifier. What's the name of the chick that's
Laura
the lead of
Lavera.
that?
Yeah, Lauren Lavera.
Okay, Lauren Lavera. So Lauren Lavera is somebody who's very good, who I would have assumed career would start jumping off with the success of Terrifier, but it hasn't really done that yet.
She's done a
But
handful
this,
of smaller, low budget horror movies, but she hasn't really done
had
anything.
that catapult.
Yeah.
And I still hope that happens for her, but I think that Indy Navarette, like her, I think that this is just going to be her calling card, and it's going to equal bigger jobs, and hopefully this is something where she becomes a staple in the genre because she's very, very good.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what she does.
Yeah, she's brilliant, dude. I mean, like I said it so on social media already. Like I literally got blown away by her performance. It's a masterclass of horror acting, because of the fact that we see two different characters. She plays two different characters in this. She plays Nikki, who's just a regular, early 20-somethings girl, post high school, working, and normal issues, boys, life, college, what do you want to do with your life, all that kind of shit. And then once Bear, our other main character, gets what he wishes for, it's never explained at all, which I loved, but she's no longer Nikki. She slowly morphs into another entity, which is not Nikki at all whatsoever. And he obviously realizes that, but much like you said, her facial expressions, her mannerisms, her eyes, which I found increasingly terrifying throughout the movie, and just the way she moved, all absolutely brilliant. I would definitely put her in the Mia Goth and Pearl category in terms of performance, but also even more deranged than that. So unfortunately, it's sad to say this, but we did get offers to interview her and Curry Barker, and somehow they did not work out, sadly. So it makes me very sad to know that now, that after seeing the movie, because there's so many things I would ask her in terms of her preparation and what they talked about, because the way she portrays the second part of her character is almost otherworldly. It's almost like a non-human, an alien of some sort, or some kind of, demonic presence. But I wouldn't even put this in that category. It's its own thing entirely, for sure.
For sure. And the reason that I bring her up first is because, again, she's gonna get all the praise. All the praise and the accolades. But dude, Michael Johnston, he basically played the straight man, right? Like, and by that I mean that there's crazy shit popping off, and there's also like dark humor that's happening with it as well. And
Absolutely.
His performance is reactionary, right, throughout the course of the movie, because it's his wish. He kind of put all this in motion without knowing how it was going to play out. So he's basically having to react to all of the setups and all of the scenarios and all of the actions of Nikki, and he's brilliant as well, man. And I just wanted to say that because I feel like
sing his praises too.
Yeah, her performance is so unbelievable, but I felt like his was too. And another thing that I loved about this movie is, okay, you've got a group of young somethings that are sitting around tables and talking and or driving in cars together. And typically those are the moments in modern horror movies, or horror movies in general, I'll go ahead and say that, where the dialogue does not feel authentic. It does not typically feel real.
Yours. Yeah.
Big time, man. Big time. And as soon as I start seeing like unrealistic dialogue, or it's just like, oh, well, these characters have to communicate and correspond, for us to get to point A to point B. Usually it's full of shit that it's just like, this, people don't talk like this. Like, this isn't real.
They felt real, man. They felt very legitimate, very genuine, like real 20-somethings, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like real friends that have grown up together.
Dude, yeah, the conversations were all organic. They felt real. They felt like, okay, yeah, of course, this is how people in their 20s actually conversate and interact with each other. And Cooper Tomlinson, he plays Bear's best friend, Ian. And when they first introduced him, I'm hyper fixated on initial conversations in a movie, because it basically tells me what caliber of movie I'm about to watch, right? So I'm hypercritical in those moments where characters for the first time in the movie are having a conversation with each other. because I'm like, all right, well, like, what am I about to get? Is this going to be a shit fest where, the main attraction is basically the horror elements of this, or am I actually going to get piece with real characters, real dialogue, and real horror to have that trifecta of like, wow, like something that legitimately knocks your socks off because you're like, I was fully in. There was nothing in this that took me out of the story at all.
Yeah.
And dude, this I loved all of the characters felt real. They felt organic and it just made it so much easier going into this movie and being in that world. And there was not one moment in this movie where I to myself thought like, oh, this is dragging, or like I really wish they would move things along. I was just in it for the ride and it felt like I was there. That's
Oh
how
yeah.
into it I was.
The perfect way to describe this movie is a ride, literally a roller coaster ride. One that takes a long time to get to the top, but when it goes down that first drop, it just shoots you into a hell of a time. Getting back to Michael Johnston, who plays Bear, which, by the way, when I'm watching the movie, I kept thinking they're calling him Bear as like Barry for short. No, his fucking name is Bear, like an actual bear.
Yeah.
But as soon as the movie opens, you're getting this conversation between Bear and this girl who you don't even know who it is, and he's basically trying to tell her that he's liked her all these years and he wants to like ask her on a date. And it's funny because it turns out that it's, Ian had gotten the waitress at the diner that they go to just sit there and pretend that she's basically Nikki, so he could practice on how to ask her out. I think the thing about the character of Bear that resonates even more so now than before, obviously we've always had shy, timid characters in cinema in terms of, the nice guy's finished last guy who doesn't know how to ask out the best friend. That's, it's a cliche. We've seen it in a million movies since the 1980s. But it's even more so prevalent now because social media has made things even worse for these people. Before, if you were a shy guy, all you had to do was get up, the confidence to maybe talk to them. But now everyone's got a phone in their face. Everyone uses, online dating, and there's so many more distractions and things getting in the way of a actual legitimate and genuine conversation that could lead to a date. And this is someone that he's known his whole life. Like, they went to high school together and he's had this crush on her. They both work at the same music store. It looks like, I think all of them do, the whole core group. They all work at the music store, where all of a sudden you see Andy Richter showing up, by the way, who plays Sarah's dad, I guess. I was like, okay, he was on set for one fucking day or something, but I was like, wow, I heard that voice. I was like, oh man, okay, Andy Richter's on this thing. They got a name in there. Not the most memorable name after you see the whole movie, but what I love about this movie is Bear is portrayed as like this shy, unknowing, he can't get up the confidence to talk to the girl type of guy. But we also realize that his morals are not very strong. He goes into this random boutique, and again, this is where it felt like it was straight out of Goosebumps, to try to find a gift to give to Nikki. And then he finds this, what they're calling a vintage collectible, a one-wish willow. And it's only after he takes her home from their weekly trivia night at the bar, and she's a little bit intoxicated, he's trying to muster up the confidence to tell her that he likes her by picking on her, calling her Weird Nikki or whatever her nickname was from high school.
Freaky Nikki.
Freaky Nikki, that's what it was. And she even asks him point blank, like, Bear, do you like me? Because now will be the time to tell me if you do. He's just like,
chickened out.
Yeah, he chickens out. As soon as she goes in the house, he opens up the one-wish willow, he snaps that stick in half, and then he wishes that she was in love with him. And next thing you know, we get one of the first terrifying shots of the movie. He looks to his right, and it's her silhouette, just her shape, staring at him from the front porch in darkness.
Dude, that's actually one thing that I want to call out that Curry Barker did that was visually really interesting. There are several shots in this movie where they're intentionally not lit well. So
exactly.
all you see,
you might just see part of her eyes a little bit in some of the shots, but her silhouette is the most important thing, and he knows that. Out of horror cinema, think about it, man. We love Freddy Krueger, we love Michael Myers, we love Jason Voorhees, and those are iconic silhouettes, and he does that here perfectly with Nikki.
Yeah, there's a few scenes where it's her standing up having a conversation with him in the dark, and it's just her silhouette as she's like rambling off insane shit that he's trying to come to terms with, like, oh, this is really happening. And just the way that Curry Barker frames and shoots those moments genuinely are unsettling. Where I
Yeah.
don't know that other filmmakers could pull that off quite as effectively as he did, which, not to jump all over the place and all around, but clearly people went into a bidding war for this movie and they offered him Texas Chainsaw Massacre after they saw this movie.
Yeah.
They were like, "Would
And it
you be
makes sense to
interested
me.
in this?" Dude, it's because I don't know what's going on in horror cinema right now, but if you look at it, all of the people that are the new and up and comers in the genre all come from a history of comedy backgrounds, which is really interesting. You've got Jordan Peele, you've got Zach Kreger, and now you've got Curry
Dude,
Barker.
the Philly
All
Blue Brothers,
dudes.
man. Same with them. Bring
Yeah,
her back.
yeah.
Those guys were also doing YouTube shorts and shit. Dude, and Curry Barker, man, he's only 26 years old. And look where he's at. And this reminds me of like the John Carpenter era where like a super young guy is just has one really big horror hit. We'll see if he continues on. We'll see what the caliber of quality will be in his Texas Chainsaw movie. But from my point of view, I'm just very excited to see what he'll do with it. That's different than the majority of the franchise, which my opinion on that, which I think most of them aren't very good. I think we have a handful of really good Texas Chainsaw movies. I know you love all of them, but you know what I mean in terms of actual quality that comes close to getting to the first one. I mean, I even like some of the bad ones too, but I mean, what he does here with the characters is he really does have you connect with them in a way deeper way. And I think for Texas Chainsaw, that's something that's been lacking in that franchise for a while.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, just he directed the shit out of this movie. And it's just so clear the confidence he had in this going into it, just because, like, I don't think you could go into making this movie without having that distinct vision in your mind. And it's a juggling act too, because pre-show you and I were discussing one of our mutual buddies saw the movie and it didn't work for him because of the comedy that's in this.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But I feel like that's the magic juggling act, is to be able to tell a story that is, dude, this movie is dirty, it's disgusting, it's gritty, it's uncomfortable, it's often hilarious, and it's brilliantly acted and directed. Like, all of those things all working in service of this movie. And it's just it's really interesting because I feel like you had to have some of those comedic moments in the movie. And you and I, before our wives, we dated a lot of different chicks. We dated, I'm sure, some crazy chicks that would say
dude, I dated a girl, I'm not gonna say her name, in my 20s that was a lot like this. A lot like this. The type of person that would absolutely stand over you while you slept and said, "I'm just watching you as you sleep because you're so adorable." But we knew deep down that she had much darker reasoning behind it.
Yeah, no, I dated one chick in particular that was out of her fucking mind. So, like, it's hard to not think back on some of that while watching this movie. But there are moments that are like genuinely funny because given this scenario, I feel like there would be moments that were legit like, this is funny, but oh my God, she's serious.
Yeah, I mean,
like, she's being serious.
The movie, once he does snaps the wish and she's right there and they kind of, she demands that she stays at his place. They get to his place and it's the first interactions. Obviously he's so uncomfortable because he's completely like taken by surprise that this happened. He's not realizing yet in his head that this thing worked. He doesn't get that. He thinks something's wrong with her, that she's having a nervous breakdown, anxiety attack,
or that she was on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he quickly realizes that the day or so after, she's like madly in love with him, and he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go with this. This is great. Like, I got what I wanted. They're having sex constantly. It shows this like montage of them. It's honestly a comedy montage of them like making pancakes together and kissing and like reading a book together and laughing. It's like, feels like it's straight out of a Lifetime movie. But I loved that because then it shows a very quick period of time where things are good until they're not anymore, and she starts getting this disturbing obsession with him and becomes extremely sinister from that point on, where Nikki isn't Nikki anymore. She breaks through the hollow and she's just a shell of herself. Now Nikki's like inside this thing that she can't get out of.
Man, I think my favorite part of the entire movie was when Nikki was sleeping and Bear gets out of bed, and basically it's revealed that the real Nikki is trapped inside of her body.
Yeah.
And she's fully cognitive on what's happening, and that basically she's possessed and she has no way of like kicking the possession and like coming back and being in control of her body and her mind. Like, she's a prisoner inside of herself from this like one witch willow demon that's taken her body over. And there's that scene when Bear gets out of bed and she's like, please, like, kill me.
Dude, you know what that reminded me of? Again, Goosebumps, when Carly Beth has the mask on and she's like, please help me. It's the same fucking thing, dude. Like, get this mask off me. I want out of here.
I mean, realistically, you know, he could have been, you know, inspired by that, and it made him think of like, oh, like, here's a story I could see that.
He clearly plays around with some Wishmaster stuff in this as well. It's very obvious he knows Wishmaster too. What I love is, I mean, later on we get Bear also. There's a number on the box of the One Wish Willow where it's like, oh, I can call this thing to figure out, maybe I can cancel this. That's a hilarious scene too, because the guy's like, are you calling to cancel the wish? And he's like, yeah, I want to cancel the wish. And he's like, we don't do that. We don't cancel the wish. And he's like, how do I
really do that?
We don't really do that. And he's like, how do I get this to stop? And he's like, well, it'll stop when you're dead. When you die, it'll end.
Yeah.
It's the instant realization, you're fucked, bro.
The first time when shit really hits the fan in the movie is when Nikki has the day off, but Bear has to go to work, and she's like, "Oh, I'll come with you." And he's like, "No, just like stay here and like relax, and like I'll be back in a little bit."
Yeah.
And she stands in the same position she left him at, which was standing adjacent across from the front door.
The front door, which she duct taped shut before he tried leaving for work.
Yep.
Like fully taped shut.
She didn't want him to leave. She didn't want him to leave, and she stands in the same place for like 16 hours or whatever it is. She pisses herself. It looks like she threw up.
She shits herself. There's shit on that floor too. There's shit on there.
This is definitely like somewhat of a body horror film as well, because there's a lot of gross shit that's going on with the body in this movie, thanks to this One Wish Willow curse. So yeah. You know, it's the tale as old as time, you know, be careful what you wish for, because it's like when you get that, it may not be what you imagined, you know, when it comes true. And like for this, like she basically, the only thing she cares about in her life is occupying every moment of his time. And
that obviously bothers some of their friends, Ian and Sarah, which see this as a possible Bear taking advantage of someone that's not mentally capable at that moment of making the right decisions, to the point where they're not hanging out with them. They don't want to be around them. But then Ian has a party in which he's like, prove it. Come by yourself. Don't bring her. And then, you know,
brings her.
Finds out, you know, Nikki finds out from Sarah that she was invited. So she comes with him. And this is one of the most unhinged scenes in the whole movie, where they're playing, I guess this is a version of Jenga or something, where you like, it's like truth or dares. Again, I've never played this. I'm not in my 20s. So when you pull a piece out, you have to do what it says on there. And Bear pulls a piece out, and it was like, kiss the person to your left. And it's Sarah, who's also friends with all of them. And also it's indicated to us early on, like, that Sarah's had a crush on Bear, and they just have never connected over that or anything. He's always been he's had eyes for Nikki.
Idiot, bro. He had a hot goth chick that was all about him, and yet he's like, oh, let me go for this one wish willow for this
he's unknowing,
other
man.
chick.
I mean, we're led to believe he's kind of unknowing about this stuff. This guy, he's not necessarily Casanova over here, but this scene was creepy as shit because Nikki slides in between Sarah and Bear, and her eyes are bulging out of her head, and then the kiss, and then of course leads to this extremely violent, shocking scene where she grabs one of those things and, man, she literally smashes her face in.
Dude, oh my god, this scene in particular, when Bear pulls the block that says "kiss the person to your left," the way that she stands up and stomps her foot and frowns, bro. I have never, and I've tried. You know what's funny? After watching this scene, I tried to emulate how she frowned in this movie, and I can't even make my
Not
lips
possible.
do it.
I don't think
I can't make my lips, dude. It's remember that grumpy cat where the cat was always looking like it was frowning.
Yeah.
It was like viral
R.I.P.
from a million years ago. Yes, dude. That's exactly what her frown looked like. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't even know how she did it, but her facial expression in that moment and the way that she emoted from her eyes, how upset she was that, this game was, insisting that Bear kiss Sarah to his left. All of the emotion and the rage and the heartache that she shows just in that moment is so out of this world and yet believable. And then this shot, I love this shot so much. It's like one camera shot and it's on Bear and it's on Sarah, and all of a sudden you hear Nikki walking in the background of the shot. She walks behind Sarah, violently grabs the chair that Sarah is sitting in and starts dragging the chair backwards, and it's like and she gets her out of the way and then immediately goes and kneels down so she can be at Bear's left. So she's the one that Bear has to kiss. All while everyone is like, holy fuck, this is really happening. Like, you could hear a pin drop in that party because how awkward and uncomfortable it was. Like, that's when I knew. I was like, man, as long as this movie sticks the ending, I'm going to love the fuck out of this thing.
Yeah, this is, I think, right. You mentioned her previous to this, the scene with her waiting the whole time for him to get back from work. That leads to this evening, and then her bashing her face in, and she, he tries to take her to the hospital. They end up back at his place, and this is where it's worse. Things have already gone past the point of insanity, and it's only going to get. I mean, he's starting to be affected by this mentally as well. And I don't want to spoil the entire ending for people that haven't seen it. I will say he does try to, at this point, after this, him and his friend Sarah and him want to connect. He tries to get out of that room so he can go meet up with her because she has news for him. And this is where that scene occurs where you and I legitimately, Jeremy, jumped out of my fucking seat. They go to meet at this park so she can, because they've been friends for a while, open her last possible offer from a college. She's been declined from all these other colleges, and it's just important to her. They meet up in this
Sarah and Bear. Yeah.
Yep. Sarah and Bear.
Yep.
And this is when, again, something's coming. And this is the Alfred Hitchcock effect, man. It really is. The way that Curry frames this, you're just waiting. The shot's on Sarah, and they're about to open this letter. Nikki's going to come around the corner. She's going to show up, and you can hear the sound. And even though you already hear the sound, when she smashes through the glass, takes a brick and smashes Sarah's face on it repeatedly until her face is fucking mush, you still jump from it. This is one of the most grotesque, insane scenes in the entire movie. My mouth was wide open, dude. I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Jaw on the floor. Again, you knew she was going to show up.
You knew
she was. She was going to break the window in. You knew she was going to break the window in. I turned to Brady
before it happened. When they're sitting in the car, when they first get in the car, I go, she's going to show up in a minute and break through the window. Now, again, This may be in the trailer. I don't remember. I saw the trailer one time from my recollection. But when it happens, I jumped out of my fucking seat. And that scene is literally some rough shit, man. But I love every second of it. Absolutely.
Brutal. And again, that scene right there, I'm like, I see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I see how you can have this. And one thing, I know I keep referencing the Texas Chainsaw thing because it's very exciting that there is somebody that's on board that has talent of this level that is excited to make a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And what he said about Texas Chainsaw, he goes, a lot of, and I'm not quoting directly, but he said a lot of people say, everything that could be done with Texas Chainsaw has already been done. Just leave it alone. Why would you want to delve into that? He goes, I disagree. Everything that can be done with this franchise has not been done. In fact, I have an idea that I'm very excited about, and it's not just going to be a guy that's chasing people with a chainsaw. There's going to be heart, there's going to be emotion, and there's going to be real stakes, and it's going to be brutal. So that right there, I'm like, after seeing, this scene in particular, it's like, oh, dude, yeah, this is the guy, man. He's the guy, and I'm really excited and hopeful that he actually makes his Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, right? Because we've seen it before, where people get announced for these things and it ends up not happening for one reason or another. So hopefully this actually happens, because I think that if anybody was going to tackle a new Texas Chainsaw movie and make it original and
something worth watching,
I think he's the guy, man, for sure.
Yeah, so we're here at the ending, and like I said, I don't want to ruin the entire ending and spoil all of it, but I can let you know right off the bat, as we've pushed the tension all the way to the end, it gets even more insane at the end with this final confrontation. The one thing Bear does after that evening is he goes back to that shop, manic, hasn't gotten a wink of sleep, covered in blood. I need one of those one wish willows. He's like, how do I, he's trying to like cancel the wish. He's trying to do everything he can to try to get her to go back to normal. And he gets one thinking that he can get someone to make the wish that he never made his wish, so she'll go back to normal. Goes to his buddy's house, Ian, who doesn't believe him at all, thinks he's fucking insane, sees him covered in blood. As a joke, grabs the fucking thing from him and says, I wish I had $1 billion. And this is where the movie goes into pure fantasy, obviously. But we've already heard throughout the movie from other, he looks it up on the internet and from other people, that sometimes this thing really does work. And we see throughout the movie it works because of what Nikki's going through. A huge pile of $1 billion just falls on this dude in his fucking living room. And
the movie gets frantic at this point.
It gets
too.
wild here. Yeah.
The pace and the frantic dialogue, it's like a frenzied mess.
It's almost like you're on meth, dude.
Yeah, and I mean that in a frenzied mess in a good way, because like, as being
it's how he's feeling.
Of this journey, yeah, as being a part of this journey, you're feeling how he feels and how hopeless and terrifying and scared and manic he is in that moment. Like, all of that stuff just keeps happening rapid fire. Like, his friend shows up, he doesn't make the wish that he asked his friend to make. Ian makes the wish for the $1 billion. Now money's falling from the ceiling. Then you fucking, again, I don't want to ruin the ending either. There is a moment with Sarah's corpse that is
incredible,
up, and it's
incredibly fucked up, but so wonderfully done. Oh.
Again, another moment in the movie, Sarah's corpse being propped up in that chair.
Feels like Texas Chainsaw.
Again, Texas Chainsaw, bro.
Yeah,
I see it.
It does.
So, yeah, it's just the ending is such a frenzy that it's, as the audience, it's hard to catch your breath, because you're just like, holy, the shit has literally hit the fan, and it's just getting worse.
It's squeezing your throat even harder than it was in the beginning. It has not let go. I mean, and the one thing I need to warn people of, if you're listening throughout this whole thing without seeing it, is this does hit a nerve purposely. It does some things for people. There's some stuff with animals that may turn some people off. Nothing like realistic looking, but there's some stuff there. And obviously the ending here, which I'm not going to reveal that, Jeremy. I think people need to experience this for themselves, because it builds to something that I think, honestly, if you're watching the movie and paying attention, is foreshadowed upon way earlier in the movie. especially when he has that phone call with the guy trying to cancel the wish. The ending is bleak as fuck. It's tragic. That's part of the movie that, obviously walking out, it's either going to make or break your reaction to this thing. But the movie has enough of that dark comedy throughout to alleviate a lot of the really bleak as fuck themes and ideas and the visuals that you experience. So I think, honestly, it's probably best to let people experience that one ending moment, the way the film ends that last frame for themselves. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no, for sure. This is one that I definitely don't want to discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, after you've seen the movie, feel free to PM us and we'll talk or whatever.
Yeah. But, yeah, please do. Dude, I haven't had a chance to talk to really anyone about this except for the few people that saw it with us. And obviously we gave away passes for this, and a handful of the people that came out from the passes we gave all got a hold of me and all pretty much really enjoyed this movie to different extents. It is insane. I asked a few people after we were leaving the theater what they thought, and they were just like, they were eyes wide and pale as a ghost, like, what the fuck just happened to me? And I think that we need more movies like that in this genre for sure.
This is a movie that I feel like if you're a fan of the genre, you have to go see this movie in a theater.
100%.
Have to. Like this is an experience, and every year there's, I don't know, 1 to 5 movies, maybe if we're lucky, that literally knock my socks off, right? Sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on the year. This one, I was so stoked, man. When the movie ended, how much I loved this movie. Man, it was like that feeling of, seeing your favorite band perform your favorite song, right? It's like,
Sure.
I love horror movies, and I love when we get a new horror film that's able to shock and surprise me and has done so in a masterful way. And, I've been watching scary movies, basically my whole life. So it's not as common these days to have that experience, but when it does happen, man, it just feels special. And that's how this one felt to me. This was not just another horror movie. Specifically, it was not another Blumhouse horror movie, because holy fuck. When's the last time they put out a movie this fucking good, dude?
A long time, man. And I think that's one thing to be mentioned. Do not pass up this movie because you see that Blumhouse logo attached. Do not connect the two things in any other way other than the fact that they helped, they put money up for it in some way and
they wrote a check.
Release it. They wrote a check. They had nothing to do with it creatively.
After it was made.
Yeah.
No. And dude, yeah, this like I said, it felt special. My wife, after these things, will, the next day will be like, how was the movie? And, usually it's, oh, it was fine, or it was all right, or, but like me telling her about this movie, I was excited like a kid. Like, oh my God, like, I have to go take you to see this. Like, this movie is just unbelievable. It knocked my socks off. It just really was a thrilling experience that is just not super common these days, man. I've seen 2 movies this year that have legitimately knocked my socks off. There was this, and then there was, I don't know if it's redo or redux. I don't know how the fuck to say that word, but whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Redux was amazing on this level. If you guys haven't seen that, I think it's on Amazon. It's like a weird, like, revenge, murder, abduction, time travel movie, which sounds like that shouldn't work, but it's really incredible. So to have seen, we're in, what are we in, May right now?
It's May 11th as of this recording. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. To have seen 2 movies this year that have knocked my socks off, I'm like, man, this is all right. I'm having a good time. Thank you.
So are you going to trash or treasure Obsession?
Oh, dude.
If the listeners didn't already fucking know the answer to that question, but
yeah,
we have got to do our thing.
It's for sure. It's so wild because typically, even in movies that I love, there's 1 or 2 moments that I'm like, I would tweak this, or I wish there wasn't this or this component. There's literally not one thing that I can think about for this movie that I would change. Not one piece of dialogue, not one action set piece, not a practical effect or a CGI effect. Like, nothing in this movie felt like it shouldn't be in this movie or could be improved upon. Like, this again, this felt like a very, very special experience, and I loved this movie, and I can't wait to see what Curry Barker does next. I mean, the fact that we've said his name so much in this
Yeah.
interview. How many times do you watch, a horror movie and you don't even know who the fucking director is, right? You're just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, this new movie that's coming out." But like, we have talked about him so much because his vision and what he created is so different and so original and so brutal and so unsettling that it was just honestly it's a treat and it's a gift to horror fans. Is this gonna be something that works for everybody? I mean, no, you know what I mean? Like, that it's very rare that a movie comes out that is universally celebrated as, like, definitively just being a great film. However, I feel like 9 out of 10 horror fans are gonna fucking love the shit out of this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
There it
treasure,
is.
bro.
Treasure it. And following lock and step there. The concept itself, this is not rocket science. We've been down this road before, but what Curry Barker does with this is really put his own stamp on this subgenre with a visual flair and a refreshing take. He takes something that a lesser filmmaker would have made some piece of shit movie, probably by Blumhouse, that people would went and saw and forgotten about. But this is something I think that'll stay in the zeitgeist or the public eye in terms of the horror fans that wet their whistle on this kind of gory, insane shit. Obviously, it has a lot to say about toxic relationships, and also romance. I mean, the movie is romantic in a really dark, strange way, as well as being sexy in a dark, strange way. Indy Navarrete literally gives a fucking full-on, brilliant, Oscar-worthy performance that, you cannot take your eyes off her in this movie. And I agree with you. Michael Johnston is also good. He is the Dean Martin to Indy's Jerry Lewis in that sense of the straight man versus the wild one. And also, like, there's so much else about this movie that I really enjoyed. Obviously, the score itself was brilliantly done by Rock Burwell, and I looked his information up prior to this recording, and I only hear 2 tracks on YouTube. I can't find anything else by Rock Burwell, but they are available to connect to your Instagram posts if you make a post about the movie. Hopefully we get the full score to this movie soon. It was just great, dark, strange, ethereal, but yet romantic and sexy synth sounds. Always got to talk about the score because it needs to be mentioned. And also Taylor Clemens, who was the director of photography on the film. Beautiful, wonderful shots. All those scenes, Jeremy, we were talking about where, we see the silhouette of Nikki in the corner of the room in pure darkness, but you only see like the whites of her eyes, or it's all done practically, and it's just so gorgeously done. And he's, only done a few things. He hasn't even done a full, huge, large movie or anything like that yet. So props to Taylor Clemens on that. Just an overall great low budget production. I hope to see this movie make a lot, and I can't wait to see it again. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Fresh Fright review of Curry Barker's, remember that fucking name, Obsession. Let us know what you thought of the movie when you get a chance to see it in the comments section, wherever you're seeing this episode posted. If this is your first time listening to the Epic Film Guys, thanks for checking us out. This is officially our 12th year. We just actually surpassed it a few weeks ago, and I didn't even recognize it because that's how old I am. So 12 years. And if you're a longtime listener, like I said, we love you so much. Thanks for sticking with us. We can be found everywhere on social media at Epic Film Guys. And of course, our podcast is on every single podcast platform known to man. So until next time, thanks for listening. I'm Justin.
I'm Jeremy.
And we like to ask you to keep that shit.
Keep it creepy.